Hey guys, it's Megan, and today I wanted to chat with you guys about a few things, including books and the Oscar nominations. In my vlog that I posted yesterday, I kind of told you guys and teased that I had a few predictions or hopes with the Oscar nominations, and then one of my subbies asked me to talk about my feelings about the nominations and the snubs, surprises, all of that. So I'm really excited about it because today when I'm filming this is actually the day that the nominations came out. So I have very fresh feelings about this, and I definitely have a lot of feelings. So first I want to talk about books because I came home today and I was thinking to myself, I'm going to do nothing tonight because I had just finished my last book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series, and I wasn't really a fan of it, to be honest. I'm pretty disappointed. And then I finished the night by watching You, which I love how that sounds. The show is called You, but it when you say I'm watching you, that is just so cool how they thought of that with the name of the show and the stalkerish murdering aspect of it. So anyway, I finished watching You season 2, and wow, that show is it is crazy. I feel like it could be so much better if they didn't ignore realistic things happening. Some things are just so implausible, and a lot of things are very implausible in that show. But anyway, I don't want to spoil it. If you guys want a full get ready with me or something of me chatting through my thoughts about You and total spoilers, definitely let me know, because I always tiptoe around talking about plot and really anything that happens in shows or movies, because I know that it would suck to be watching a random video and have it be spoiled for you. So let me know if you would want that, and I can definitely spill my guts about how I'm feeling, because I'm very excited for season 3. They set it up really, really interestingly, but yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about You. And so I was like, I'm gonna do nothing. I don't have any plans. And then the caveat was, unless I get my Book of the Month Club box. But I had placed the order last week, so I did not think it would arrive. But what was on my doorstep but the Book of the Month box? So my subby and friend on here, Daleen, told me about this service, and I signed up right away because I was just so excited and curious to see how I will getting a book every single month. And I use Daleen's referral link, and I will link my referral link down below, because when you buy through someone's referral link, your first book is $5. A hardcover nice popular book for $5 is just crazy. But just for full transparency, it is a referral link, so I get a credit every time someone signs up through my link, and so I will get a free book credit. So I would really appreciate if you guys use my link, but I totally understand if you don't feel comfortable doing that. But I think it would be really fun, especially if you're on a reading challenge like I am this year, to get at least 12 books sent to you throughout the year. And what is the coolest thing about this is you get to pick what book you want. Unless you miss the cutoff date of when you have to pick the book, you get to pick from, they have 5 books selected each month, and it's a variety of genres, fiction, non-fiction, which I think is really interesting. You can also choose from their archive of all of their past book winners. They pick a book every month, and they've been doing it since the 1920s or something, which I was what? It was so crazy to read that, because that's very, very impressive. Obviously, the business model must have changed over the years, because now it's all online. So maybe it used to be a catalog or TV, or I don't even know how it would have been back in the 20s. But it's really, really cool to me that you actually get to pick what book you want for that month. So with my $5 first month, I picked a book I've been wanting to read for a while, and it is Daisy Jones and the Six. And it's also neat because this was the book of the year chosen by book of the month, and so it has like a different cover on it, so it has this like seal, and I'm assuming that every book that is like published through Book of the Month Club has this like little piece in the corner, which is their logo. And then on the actual book itself, it's also imprinted Book of the Month logo, and then it says the month and year that it was chosen for the Book of the Month. So this was March 2019 Book of the Month, and now it is the Book of the Year for 2019. So I have heard about this from so many different people. The first person I heard about this from was a really sweet girl that I met at a conference last fall, and I was reading at the time, I think, the second Crazy Rich Asians book, and we were just like chatting about reading, and I was like, have you read anything really great lately? And she recommended this book, and then ever since then I've just heard so many people talk about it. So tonight I'm gonna start reading this for sure, and my sister gave me this bookmark that says book nerd on it, and I've been using like receipts and like gift cards and stuff as bookmarks because I guess I didn't have a bookmark. I couldn't be bothered to use like a post-it note or something. So now I have an official bookmark, which makes me feel so cool and like the book nerd that I am now. Like, I used to be a book nerd when I was younger. Now I am a newfound, reborn book nerd. So if you guys have read this, I'm sure you loved it because I've heard like nothing but good things about it. I really don't know anything about the story, and that's how I like it. When I'm posting this, I'll probably be potentially done with the book because I'm filming this like a week in advance or a few days in advance if I can get it posted faster. But yeah, I just think this is a cool way to read a lot of books this year at a discounted price, because even if you got like the first month subscription, it would still be less than buying this book outright. So yes, this is really exciting to me, and I can't wait to keep picking books, and I'll definitely show you guys in like vlogs, or if you want me to do like reading reviews or like book reviews, let me know about that as well. So on to my Oscar feelings. So these are the nominations for Best Picture for the Academy Awards 2020. So we have Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. So I have seen 4 of these movies. I've seen Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, Marriage Story, and Parasite. So I still have 5 more to see, and I do want to try at least to see all of these movies. A lot of them aren't really up my alley. I have heard that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and 1917 are very like violent and gory, so that is not my personal preference, but I've also heard that they're both amazing movies. So I do want to see those movies. The Irishman is on Netflix, so that is very accessible for those of us with Netflix, and it's 3 hours long, but if you make like a whole big production out of it, it would be really fun to watch at home. Jojo Rabbit did not really interest me, but I will try to see it if it comes. I'm assuming all of these movies will come back in theaters now that they're nominated. Well, not like the Netflix ones, but AMC actually does a cool thing where it's the Best Picture Showcase, and I think it's over 2 days. They show all of the nominated movies, but last year, from what I remember, they did not show movies that were like Netflix owned. So I'm not sure what they'll do, considering 2 of these movies are Netflix productions, so we'll see. But I really want to see Little Women. That's been on my list. 1917 won Best Picture at the Golden Globes, so that could be like an indicator of it could win the Oscar. I really want Parasite to win. That is a South Korean film, and it was my favorite movie I saw in 2019. It was so thought-provoking and unlike any movie I've ever seen. Like, it was so well done, so many twists and turns, and it has stuck with me for all these months since I've seen it. So I really hope that comes back in theaters. I'm shocked that Ford versus Ferrari is nominated here. I really enjoyed that movie, but I did not expect that to be nominated at all, just because it didn't really get a lot of buzz about it from what I have heard. I'm surprised that The Farewell wasn't nominated here. I haven't seen it, but it sounds amazing, and just like right off the bat, a huge snub is Awkwafina not being nominated for anything. Like, The Farewell isn't nominated for anything at all in the Oscars, but Awkwafina at least has won at the Golden Globes and I believe at the Critics' Choice Awards Best Actress. So for her not to even be nominated is a really big shocker to me and like surprise. So that really disappoints me. But we do have in the actress in a leading role Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, which I did not see, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, which I will definitely be seeing, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, which I don't have a lot of interest in, but I probably will see it eventually, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, loved it, and Renee Zellweger for Judy, which I also did not see. But from everything I've been hearing, Renee Zellweger is the one to win this award, and honestly, I think she probably will. Like I said, I haven't seen most of these movies in this category, but just from like an Oscar-y performance, like transforming into Judy Garland definitely seems Oscar-y to me. And I mean, Charlize Theron had a really big transformation into Megyn Kelly, so that could help her. Saoirse Ronan is just such an amazing actress. Like, anything I see her in, she just blows my mind, and she's really young, so it would be really awesome for her to win an Oscar at this age. But I hope and believe that she will win an Oscar one day, so I'm not sure, we'll see. But Scarlett Johansson has like 2 nominations in the actress category this year, the leading role for Marriage Story and supporting for Jojo Rabbit. So I've heard she's amazing in Jojo Rabbit, but like I said, I haven't seen that yet. So actor in a leading role, we have Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, which is a Spanish film, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. The Two Popes is on Netflix, and I still have to watch that, so I don't know about Jonathan Pryce's performance. Adam Driver in Marriage Story is giving it. Like, he is all out, he is all raw emotion, and that, like, both him and Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story are phenomenal. Like, it really seemed like they were a true couple. It didn't seem like acting at all, and I just love Adam Driver. He is an actor and just like a person that I really am like gravitating towards. Like, I don't know if I'm necessarily like attracted to him, but I'm just like, what are you gonna do next? You're such an interesting person and a great actor. So I would love for him to win, but I think Joaquin Phoenix is definitely going to win. I thought he was just like amazing as Joker. I really liked Joker for the movie, and especially for his performance. I don't want Joker to win Best Picture because I don't think it is the best picture, especially compared to Parasite, in my opinion, is the best of the ones I've seen. But I do really think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood could win. Joker does have the most like nominations for this year in the Oscars, so that could be an indicator for it. But I think Joaquin Phoenix is definitely going to win this category. I really want to see him do like the little Joker dance and stuff. Like, I think that would just be incredible to see that up on stage. But I just think that he will definitely win. Megan from the future here. I realized that I totally spaced and I didn't talk about how upset I am that Eddie Murphy did not get nominated for Best Actor. I am shook by this. Like, honestly, I cannot believe that Dolomite Is My Name did not get any nominations. Like, what is the Academy doing? I literally don't understand. And Eddie Murphy was phenomenal in this role. Me and my mom still talk about this movie all the time. Like, it was just so awesome to like hang out with Eddie Murphy for like 2 hours. And it's like a really great like period movie. Like, it's back in like kind of like the disco time. And so everyone definitely thought like costume design at least would have gotten a nomination, but they got nothing. And that's really upsetting for so many different people that did not get nominated for the amazing work that they did. But definitely Eddie Murphy not being nominated just seems like a total miss, and I don't think they made the right decision. Like, I would easily swap out someone else in this category to have Eddie Murphy at least be nominated. I think Joaquin Phoenix still would win, but I think that Eddie Murphy deserved that nomination, because I hope that he's in a lot more movies before he like decides not to be in any more movies. But this was like the first movie in a long time that he's been in, and he was outstanding. So I forgot to mention it at the time that I filmed it, but now that I'm like thinking back through everything, I'm like, oh my god, how did I not mention that? So I just had to call that out, and let's get on with the rest of the video. Then we have Best Director, and this was the only category that I predicted completely correctly. And I always try to predict what different categories are going to be. Not every category, but this was the only one I actually got correct. So we have Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, Todd Phillips for The Joker, Sam Mendes for 1917, Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. So obviously no women nominated here, and Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, or not Lady Bird, she did do Lady Bird, but Little Women, and Lulu Wang for The Farewell. Those were two like really like high profile movies, and those are amazing directors, and they just happen to be women. So to not see them represented here is really like just such a miss. Like, I don't understand how it still is like this. Maybe, I don't know. These 5 movies are the ones that I've heard the most about, so that's why I assumed that those directors would get in, especially because all these directors are like really well known. Like Bong Joon-ho, he might not be really well known in America yet, but he has a lot of movies. He's a well-known director for South Korean movies, so it's not really surprising to see all of these like older guys be nominated here, but I would really have loved to see Greta or Lulu Wang, because Lulu Wang's story for The Farewell, even though I haven't seen it, it is about her true life. She wrote and directed this movie, and she was really like adamant about having all Asian or Asian American cast, and really trying to have like minorities and underrepresented groups of people be on her set, and like just gave people opportunities that other directors might not have given them. So I think that should be recognized, and it's not, unfortunately, here at the Oscars this year, but I'm hoping, every year I always hope to see more and more women nominated. But so far this year, I'm assuming, what am I assuming? Probably Sam Mendes for 1917, because he won at the Golden Globes, and it's just like a really, like, I guess directory type of movie. It just seems like all the buzz is about 1917 right now. I could see really any of these people winning. It would be incredible if Bong Joon-ho got it, just considering he is an international director. And honestly, I don't know if like directors of international films have been nominated here before, but it's just a really tight race in my opinion. So I'm not sure who would win, but just based on the previous like award shows, I would say probably Sam Mendes for 1917. Then for actor in a supporting role, we have Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Al Pacino and Joe Pesci for The Irishman, Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So to me, it's interesting that Robert De Niro was not nominated for Best Actor for The Irishman, yet The Irishman has like is winning or like nominated in every other category. I'm pretty positive Brad Pitt will win. That's what I keep hearing from like all the sources that I read about movies, and I think it would be awesome to see good looking Brad Pitt up on that stage and give a speech. I usually actually don't watch the award shows because it's just so many commercials and it's just so much extra stuff, and I am really glad that they're not having a host again this year. I don't think they needed a host, and I didn't miss not having a host last year, so I think that'll be good. But sometimes the speeches are just too political, and even if I agree with their speech, I don't want to hear about politics when I'm watching like a movie award show. I know everything is about politics, but it's just like I want to hear about like the like process of making the movie, or your like how you got into character, or like the people in like the industry that you want to thank, or your family or whatever. Like I don't really want to hear about politics. So I'm pretty sure Brad Pitt will win here. To be honest, I don't think there's really much competition. For actress in a supporting role, we have Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell. To be honest, I don't have really strong feelings about this category with this group of women. I didn't see most of these movies, and honestly, even though I didn't see Hustlers, I'm so shocked that J-Lo isn't nominated. Every time I hear about Hustlers, even though I have not seen it, but I really, really want to, I just missed it when it was in theaters because, again, I've been reading so much and I just choose reading over everything apparently these days. But I have heard that J-Lo was absolutely spectacular in Hustlers, and I definitely expected to see her nominated here. I haven't really heard anything about Kathy Bates and Richard Jewell. That movie just like totally flew under the radar. I wanted to see it when I heard an interview with the main actor. What is it? Paul Walter Hauser, I'm pretty sure. He's a very, very interesting person, and I was really excited to see that he got a leading role. I was very curious about him after seeing I, Tonya last year. Or was that 2 years ago? I don't know, time is flying. But yeah, I really didn't hear anything about this movie, so I was surprised to see Kathy Bates here after hearing so much about J-Lo, and I just don't know. I don't know who will win here. I'm assuming Laura Dern for Marriage Story because that is what I've been hearing people talk about a lot. I really loved her performance in Marriage Story as one of the divorce lawyers. Honestly, I really like all of these actresses, so I wouldn't be mad about any of them winning. Let's see, what else? There's so many categories, but oh, the one thing I was so shocked by is no Frozen 2 in the animated category. I was like, wait, what? I could not believe it. So the nominees are for animated feature film, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Klaus or Klaus, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. So I was like sure that Frozen 2 would get a nomination based on its popularity, and I really, really love the movie. Yeah, nowhere to be found here. So that is a huge shocker to me. Like I can't believe it at all whatsoever. The Klaus movie, which is on Netflix, it is a great Christmas movie. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a different animation style and it made me cry. It was very like powerful and beautiful at the end especially, and I don't know if that will win. I'm assuming Toy Story 4 will probably win. Missing Link won at the Golden Globes, but I've heard really good things about I Lost My Body, so I am going to look that up. I'm not sure if that's on Netflix or what, but I just thought that was such a shocker. Like, out of everything, I think that's what shocked me the most, which I don't know if that should shock me the most, but then we have the last two categories I'm going to talk about are the screenplay categories. So for original screenplay, which I always think is a really, really cool category, it was so awesome. Like 2 years ago, I think it was, when Jordan Peele won for Get Out. Like, I was so happy that it was nominated for Best Picture that year, but I was so like proud and happy to see that it won original screenplay, because it was such an original story, and the way that it was like Jordan Peele's first feature film, like it was just an incredible achievement. So I just always really enjoy seeing what's nominated in this category and what wins. So for original screenplay, we have Knives Out, which I just loved. Marriage Story, which is based on the director and the like screenplay writer Noah Baumbach's actual life. He says it's not, but the similarities are very, very striking. It is pretty much a mirror image of his own life and divorce. Well, I don't know about their personal relationship, but just like all the similarities of the characters compared to him and his ex-wife are just very similar. How many times am I going to say similar? Then we have 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. So here I'm assuming, maybe I shouldn't assume this, but I'm going to assume that Noah Baumbach will win for Marriage Story. It's based on his life, so to speak, and it's a very honest portrayal of something that we really don't see in movies or TV or anything. Like, you hear about people getting divorced, and that is like a part of all of our lives at some point. Like, either you know someone that did go through it, or that's been something that you went through. And like, I just think that's a cool like thing that he did, and I think that it would be really deserving of original screenplay, and I loved the movie. I would also love to see Knives Out win, because it's the only, I think it's the only nomination for Knives Out, and that was a great story. It kept me on my toes the whole time and had a really great like twist at the end. I could definitely see like 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood winning, but again, I would love to see Parasite win this. I think that would just be really extraordinary, and I don't know if that will actually happen. Obviously, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think that would be really cool, because the story of Parasite was just so compelling and so well written. And if you haven't seen it, and if you're not really a foreign film fan, I would really urge you to give it a chance, because I'm not usually someone that watches things with subtitles or things in different languages, but honestly, your brain like learns to read the screen so quickly that I honestly, like, this is weird to say, but as I was watching the movie and like reading the subtitles, it didn't feel like after a while that I was reading anything. It just sounded like they were speaking in English to me. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it really didn't feel like I was reading it anymore. Like, after you just get in the groove of it and you just hear their voice in your head as if they're speaking the language you understand. So it is a really, really amazing, powerful movie, and I can't like recommend it enough. And then for adapted screenplay, we have Jojo Rabbit, The Irishman, The Two Popes, Little Women, and Joker. So Little Women and Greta Gerwig did get a nomination here, so that is really exciting. I don't really have a super strong opinion here. I probably would say Little Women or Joker, just based on like, I really like the movie Joker, and I really like Greta Gerwig. I'm curious to see what she did with it, because it's a really important story to a lot of people. So I've heard mixed things about it, like the things that she changed. Some people really don't like it, and some people think that it's like really great. So I'm very curious about this category because I don't really have like a strong opinion. I'm definitely more into like the original screenplay and hearing people's original ideas and like a whole new story that we haven't ever heard before. But since I've only seen Joker, that's really all I can say based on my experience, but I did really like what they did with Joker, like to give him that backstory, and I thought it was a really, really good movie. So those are my thoughts, and I hope I didn't leave anything out that I wanted to say, but for Best Picture, I would love to see Parasite win since it was my favorite movie last year, but I'm probably leaning towards, like in actuality, Joker because it has the most nominations, but I'm also leaning towards like 1917 or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those three I feel like really are top contenders in my opinion. But what's so weird at the Oscars, and I'm assuming other award like shows, I don't really know, they have like preferential ballots, so it's not like how many people vote for like Parasite as the best movie. Like they have to rank them like 1 to 9, and it's just like a really confusing process that it's like it doesn't really matter how many people vote for like Parasite as number 1. It like you have to like add it all up, and like I don't really get it. I have to like read more about it, but it's not as obvious as you may think. It's like things could cancel each other out by just how people organize it in like their 1 to 9 like balloting system. It seems really overly complicated to me, and that's why I don't understand it. But if you guys get it, let me know in the comments down below. But that is all I had to say today about books and my Oscar feelings, predictions, some of that stuff, and I hope you guys check out these movies. I am going to try to see all 9 of them, so I have 5 more to go, and I definitely want to see 1917 in theaters because I've heard the cinematography is just like phenomenal, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's not too gory and scary for me because I am a little bit of a wimp. So let me know if it's really scary and I will go in with more of like hesitation. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to all my thoughts. I really, really appreciate it. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure you're subscribed, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!